Well, Trump made a watch. Isn't Trump selling his watches for like $100K or something like that?
$100,000.
What do you think about that?
Horologically, not great, but from a perspective of the man and the following that he has, he will sell 147 of those watches for $100,000. There will be people that will buy because of him. There'll be people who will buy it because they want to show him that they have the watch and that they bought his watch, right? There are many facets to this. From a horological perspective, no, not a horological masterpiece, but from a perspective of, I'm Donald Trump. Here's a gold watch for $100,000. Trust me, there will be 147 people out there that will buy it.
You think long term this will have any kind of value?
Most likely not, due to the fact that they're making 147 of them.
Yeah, so gold sneakers by
if they made
how many did they make?
147.
So $14.7 million.
Yeah, give or take.
Is there anything about the watch that makes it unique?
No.
And you're a fan of this guy?
Yes. I'm a fan of the man. I'm not a fan of the watch.
Okay, listen, even more respect. The fact that now, to be fair, you bought his sneakers.
Yes.
And what'd you pay for it?
$9,000.
You paid $9,000 for the sneakers.
Yes.
And I heard you wore it the day he won or the day after.
I sent you a text, remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Is that you?
That's me.
There you go.
This is what, the Times or Philadelphia Inquirer? I don't know. I had people as far as Japan flying to do this interview. And my phone threw up at the office. I was on Piers Morgan. I was on every news outlet under the sun. I'm like, guys, I'm a sneakerhead. I collect sneakers. I have over 100 pairs of sneakers. I figured in my mind, these are worth at least $10,000. You got the president, you got the gold sneakers, they're friends and family, only 50 made, only one signed. How can I go wrong? I got offered $12,500 a minute after I bought
Is yours signed?
Yes. That's the whole point.
You have the only signed one.
There were 2 pairs that he signed out of the 50. So the way sneakers release is they do a friends and family run, right? The regular run was 1,000 pairs. Then they do a friends and family. Those are the ones that usually give to people and things, kind of like the Rolex I showed you earlier, right? So this was a friends and family pair. Now, regular sneakers, forget Trump sneakers. Any other sneaker that's friends and family, trays usually 5 to 10X. It's regular pair because they're numbered and it literally say friends and family on the box. That's what this was. On top of that, it was signed by him. So I said, sneakers are worth at least $10,000. I walked back to my son who's in the sneaker business. Like, Dad, you out of your mind. How much did you pay? 2 minutes later, a guy walks up, like, I'll give you 12.5. My son was like, okay, maybe it wasn't stupid. Right? That's funny. And then when the story broke and I was dubbed a Russian oligarch, the highest offer I had on it was $45,000.
For the shoe. You sold or no?
No, it's in my office front and center.
You won't sell.
Listen, because of that, I got to meet him, right? I made the video where I talked about how the world went crazy on me and dubbed me an oligarch and this, that, and the other. One of the guys that follows me on my YouTube channel, who's a big watch guy and a fan of my channel, showed it to the president. He showed me my reaction video to people dubbing me a Russian oligarch. I'm like, guys, I'm an army veteran. I was born in Ukraine. Get out of here, right? I was laundering money to Vladimir Putin by buying these sneakers. Yeah. So you understand, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? He showed him the video. It's like, I want to meet this guy. I get a phone call. I get on the plane. Next thing you know, I'm at a golf club having lunch with the guy for 2 hours. It's great.
How was it?
It was amazing. It confirmed my beliefs of why I wanted to vote for him, is the fact that he's not a politician. He's a real human being with emotions. And he is exactly the way he is in person. It was a very casual conversation for 2 hours. We talked about business, politics. 15 minutes, he's talking to my son about sneakers and what he thinks. I'm like, here's the president of the United States, 78 years old, talking to my 20-year-old and asking him for his opinion. I'm just like, right? And it was just an amazing experience. You feel a powerful presence in the room, yet you don't feel like you're being talked down to, right? The one thing that did it for me, that just told me that's really a real human being. None of this is an act, is his phone rings, picks up, his voice changes, tone of voice changes. I knew it had to be Melania. Because when my wife calls and I'm in the middle of a big business meeting and I'm Mr. Big Badass CEO, and then my wife goes like, oh, hi, honey. It's literally like, it was just real. And it confirmed that that's the guy I wanted to vote for.
Very cool. I love that. And you said you're from Ukraine.
Yeah.
So
Soviet Union originally.
I get it. I mean, this is why the war is going on. Your thoughts on Zelensky or Putin? How do you feel about those guys?
So one of the biggest heat that I caught after all this, how can you support Trump and how can you,
right?
He wants to cut off aid to Ukraine. I'm like, idiots. The war will stop the minute he walks into the office. He will be the one to stop the war. There's too much money being made on both sides. And I know how corrupt Ukraine is. I know how corrupt a lot of the former Soviet republics, which are now countries, still are. It takes decades upon decades to get to a system where it's somewhat reasonable in terms of a government that is not corrupt. So, and I know it firsthand. If you want something done in Ukraine, you can pay people off still, right?
Even all the way at the top?
Even all the way at the
Zelensky.
top. I cannot deny or confirm, right?
Yeah.
At that point, I'm not at that level. But listen, I have a nephew whom I got out of there the minute that the war started, and I visited him numerous times, and he was doing extremely well. He was in the restaurant business, had a few restaurants, kind of like a Starbucks. They call it Mary Berry over there, right? And guess what? Zoning, this. Go try to pay off a zoning officer in the United States. See what happens to you, right? Over there, goes, what's the big deal? Zoning? Oh, there's a playground 20 feet away. Here's a couple of $100. Goodbye. And you get anything done. That's on a very low level. Imagine what happens on a high level.
Yeah. Do you think Zelensky, have you ever tried selling him a watch? Has there ever been a...
No, I don't have any direct contact.
Any chance of selling Putin a watch?
Nah. Putin wears a Blancpain Aqualung.
Yeah, I saw these are the watches he has, right? This...
Yeah. So
what do you say about his watch?
So I don't know how true this is. I don't know if he actually has those watches. The watch he was mostly seen wearing was a Blancpain Aqualung, which is about a $7,000-8,000 watch, right? So that one, there you go. The other ones, I don't know where they got that information.
Go a little lower, Rob. Go a little lower. Keep going.
Yeah. So the Patek Perpetual 5040, about a $45,000 watch.
It's a nice watch.
It is. It is. The FP Journe, this is a watch that trades at like triple its retail value. This is the entry-level Journe, chronometry blue, they call it. It's blue, and it's made out of tantalum. Really cool watch.
How much is that watch?
Today's market is $70,000, $75,000.
Not worth buying it.
It is.
It is worth buying it.
It is. FP Journe, one of the... Here. This is one worth buying. This is the cream of the crop. He's known for his tourbillon. His second made tourbillon just fetched and set a record. It sold for, pull up Journe record, $8.1 million it just sold for. It's the highest record for an independent watchmaker. That watch is around $550,000.
This?
Yes. That's the Journe to have.
And this is going to retain its value.
This is going to go up in value, actually.
This is going to go up in value.
Yeah. So if you ask me for an investment piece outside of these vintage pieces, this would be another one I would want you to buy.
I can't fit this one, but it's gorgeous.
Open it all web.
You got
Pull. Don't be afraid.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, this one's gorgeous.
And that club is worth in Patek. You want to try to get an allocation for FP Journe. There's a circle and an inner circle, and you have to literally give your left kidney to be allocated an FP Journe, which is why pretty much all of them trade on the secondary 2 to 3 to 4x.
This is gorgeous. This is absolutely. And by the way, this actually goes with this outfit.
There you go.
I knew what you
were going to wear.
Can you imagine? All right, so I'm going to make you an offer right now. $8.3 million.
That's the watch.
Wow.
That was the second watch he's ever made.
Who bought it?
I don't know. I know there were two collectors. One came in from China, and I think the other one was from Japan. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was a big bidding war, and I know that it set a record. This is the highest ever number paid for an independent watchmaker, i.e. not somebody who's part of a group who's around 20 years old. And Journe, Francois Paul Journe, he is a beast when it comes to this stuff. So as I said, because of the conversation we had earlier when we first met on the phone, and you asked me about investment type of watches, I wanted to show you something that's a little bit more diversified. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that's 50 years old. It could be something that's modern that you simply cannot get. The horology is there, the popularity is there, and the auction results are there.
Which high-end watch gets the most criticism? Most hate. Like it's like, oh, those guys, you can just pay them this. They call
Hublot.
Really? Yeah. Why Hublot?
Because of my little fat funny friend that you just saw on the screen, because he has a following on YouTube as well. I think my YouTube is 500,000 followers. He's like at 1.5 million, right? He's extremely funny. And he is somebody that started talking shit on Hublot a little while back.
Did it actually work? Did they take a hit?
No.
Nothing.
They just built a third. I was just in Switzerland. I was visiting some of the factories I do business with, and I drove by them. They started with 1 5-story building, then 2. Now they have 3. Trust me, they're thriving, and they're smart because they support soccer.
Do you have Hublot yourself?
Of course.
You like Hublot?
Of course. I love Hublot.
Okay, how about Jacob and Company?
Absolutely love them for 2 reasons.
Tell me.
Number one, the 5 time zone, the iconic one. Who was it? It was Drake that just wore 2 of them. Remember, it was all over the thing. That was a watch that the movement was made in China. The case was made in China. It was a cheaply made watch with a diamond bezel that had 1.5 carats of diamonds and a colorful dial, and it worked off of a battery.
Which one?
No, not that. Put in Drake 5 time zone right there. You can see it.
Second one?
Down. Yeah, that's it. Right. The original is actually down on the bottom. See that the colorful one? That one, right? So the very first version he made of it, and that was a watch that was, I don't know, originally like $6,000 or $7,000. This is Jacob the jeweler, who was in a booth, who started in the booth that was the size of just this part of the table you're sitting on 47th Street, in the corner of 5th and 47th, or 6th and 47th, right? He sold a lot of hip-hop jewelry. He sold a lot of stuff to hip-hop artists. And then he said, why don't I make my own watch? And that's what he made. It was the cheapest made watch ever. And guess what? I put that watch in the top 10 most iconic watches ever made.
Really?
Yes. Alongside with masters like Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe. Why? Because of what it did and what this man has accomplished. Going from a booth this big to where he is today, where, I mean, building apartment complexes, the tallest in the world, and making watches such as this, and the celebrities that wear them, he revolutionized. He took the stuffy Swiss watch industry, and he brought the world of hip-hop and flex into it. He is the king of flex. He is the guy that, you want to flex? Here. Here's $700,000 on this all yellow cut baguette diamonds and a tourbillon.
This is $700K.
Yes. And guess what? He now is no longer making his watches in China, obviously. He took horology to the next level. Did you see Jay-Z wearing the Bugatti watch he just came out with? I had that on my wrist in Geneva. I was proud to flex to say I was the second person to get that watch after Jay-Z. But he now uses a company called Concepto, which they make some of the most innovative movements and some of the most highest quality movements. So he went from that time zone watch to creating something like that. And that entire animation, that works. You press a button and those cylinders go up and down.
And what did that sell for? What does a watch like that go for?
The retail on that watch is $380,000.
That.
Yeah, and good luck finding one. You won't find that watch.
Worth buying or no?
If you want to flex, if you want to have that watch, and if you believe in Jacob, the man himself, then yes, I'm getting one.
There's watches that I hear, like, don't waste your time buying anything, with those guys. I hear the criticism from guys in the marketplace on Huna. I've heard Hublot. I've heard few others. I've heard him sometimes with their one. By the way, some of the stuff is really creative. Matter of fact, Rob, isn't there, they have a $20 million gold watch, right? Wasn't there something with
Jacob?
him that
The billionaire.
Right.
Yeah, pull up Jacob and Co. Billionaire.
Is that what it's called, the watch?
It's called the Billionaire.
Rob, see if there's a video.
That's it.
That's a $20 million watch.
Yeah,
Has he sold it? Does anybody own it? Does he still have it himself?
Not yet, but he sold. This is one of the variations.
Yeah.
He made many of those. Like Floyd Mayweather had one. A couple other guys had one.
Who has the biggest watch collection? Who has the biggest watch?
It's going to be tough to say because do you quantify by a dollar amount or amount of watches? There's guys out there that have thousands of watches, but they're not that expensive.
Quality. Because somebody could have $1,000, $50,000 watches
from the world of celebrities. You got guys like John Mayer. You got guys like Mark Wahlberg. You got guys like Kevin O'Leary.
So it's not billionaires.
Not really.
Really? Because Bill Gates wears a $40 watch. He wears like
he doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Remember what I told you when you said I want to see if I can get this $5 million watch. I asked you how many guys do you know that can afford the watch. You said, okay, that's a small pool. I said, and out of that pool, how many of those guys actually be willing to spend $5 million? Because some guys will be willing to spend $5 million on a rookie Babe Ruth card versus an expensive watch and wear a Timex, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Watches are not. You have to be into this stuff.
I was about to get it, and then I put it elsewhere.
Guys, I get 1 million DMs a day. You guys are asking me, how do I get into the watch industry? Well, I've been doing this for 22 years. I don't have time to answer 1,000 DMs a day. I try my best. However, all those questions can be asked of me on Minect, and all the proceeds from those will go to my charity.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.